Yes, guys, welcome back to a new episode of Normalising a Life podcast. As you can probably see, I have got a nice cheeky new setup, and I have got proper geek on with all of this, and Rob.
Oh, you splashed. That was not my feminine group laughter. That was.
What are you on about, mate? I've got all the tools and all the bottles, even the crickets for when Rob tells a bad joke.
That is also the sound of everyone turning off the podcast because of your shitty buttons.
I know, I'm not going to use them all the time, I promise. Well, I'm not going to use them at all. I'm going to just keep it to our lovely voices. But
maybe to lighten the mood sometimes if we go pure downer.
Very, very, very crisp. Yeah, I know, yeah. We're talking about something like really, really like heartfelt and deep. Yeah. And then I just hit you with a...
Yeah, could be good.
Or
that's pretty much the song of my life. The whole way through my life, I just hear wah, wah, wah.
That when Rob drops his AirPods down a hole.
Do you know what? I always forget. I lost an AirPod, and then I go to put the AirPods in, and then I open the case, and it's just depression. Man. Just open the case of depression.
No, but I've been wanting AirPods for ages, and if that happened to me, I'd be so upset.
Oh, I haven't even placed it. I've just been dealing with one ear.
Just dealing with one ear.
Just dealing with it. So what have you been up to this week?
This week it's been a bit of a busy one. I went to Manchester to be on another podcast on Monday. And met Rick Shields.
I seen this on your Instagram, and I have no idea who this guy is. The user acting like he was fucking David Beckham, and
mate, he's got 1.5 million subscribers. He's like a golf hero on YouTube. Really? It's class.
Golf hero, so
it's class on YouTube.
It's not really.
It was like I was just
selling it.
It was he makes YouTube videos on golf, and I was just like, I knew he was from Manchester, but I was just so shocked. He was like, Rick, is that you?
It's like a dart
like
hero.
I know him on first name basis.
It's like a dart. I couldn't name a darts hero either. Like it's pretty much on the same level, I think.
No, I know. Yeah, well, I loved it. It was class, and then yeah, on the A Game podcast that I do, we had Stevie Ward as well.
Again, I don't know who that was.
It's a ex-Leeds Rhinos captain who he had to retire because he had 2 concussions.
Leeds Rhinos, is that league or union?
Yeah, it's league. It's like top league teams.
I don't really follow any league. I like that.
Yeah, no, I used to follow it a lot. I used to play it at uni, but I obviously don't play it anymore.
It's the rugby league, not like the gay rugby where they don't tackle each other.
They tackle each other, mate. They run at each other. We're going to have this argument now. Rugby league versus rugby union, aren't we?
I heard it's a pretty one.
At least the tackle people.
There's no rucks or nothing. They're all built like cigarettes because there's no rucks.
Yeah, no, but a ruck is just basically a big cuddle on the floor. You got 10 metres and you run at people.
All the big men play rugby union, right? And then all the wee ones,
all the fat ones,
all the big strong
all the athletes play league.
And league ones are just full of people who are built like side of fivers.
All right, mate. Okay, whatever you say.
That's the first bite of the day. I'll take it.
I know. Fishing away, and I'm real mean.
Cheers, easy.
No, but yeah. Well, it's something that I'm passionate about. I like both rugby's, to be honest. I've played both. I like them both, but I'm definitely league is more my favourite.
Because it is the easier one.
It's not the easier one, I don't think, mate. You need that bloody engine. You need an engine.
I seen your engine today, and
oh yeah, my engine today. I'm not saying you're more like a
Renault. You're a Renault Clio at the minute, I think.
Oh no, mate! I've definitely downgraded in this lockdown. It's something that I think is worth touching on.
Yeah,
to be honest.
So a bit of context here. I said Adam said to me he's not got much motivation to train because he's no equipment and stuff. And I said, well, let me give you WODs to do every day, and we'll call it Rob WODs, and it'll get you up to scratch before the gym's open. And he was like, do you know what? It's a good idea. It'll keep him accountable. It'll give him an idea of where's his fitness at. And he started today. And what was the first day?
So it was a 10-minute email of you put 10 jump squats, and then second minute is 20 jumping lunges, but I did 15 jump squats and then 20 jumping lunges.
You went AWOL on that one then? You went...
Yeah, well, I did the first one, and it were like, obviously it's an EMON, and I did the first one in like less than 15 seconds. So like, I got 45 seconds of standing there doing anything, doing nothing. And then that, when it come to the last bit, when I could barely hold my weight up, I was like,
great job. And then a 7-minute burpees test, which if anyone's never done a 7-minute burpee test, turn the podcast off and do a 7-minute burpee test right now, and then tell me how you feel after. It's horrible. It's a true mental test and physical test that I think Adam sort of realised that he's not the man he was 6 months ago.
No, definitely not. No, it's not even 6 months ago. Like I before this lockdown in January, I was in really good nick. Apart from a little bit of a niggle in my knee, like in general, my engine and my movements were really good. I just obviously haven't had a barbell, and where I'm sat right now, where I'm working, I literally train at like the other side of the table. So when I've been doing like a 12-hour day working and then having to go and train in the same room, like and having no equipment, it was just, I did really lack motivation. And I don't like the word motivation itself, because I find that momentum's a lot better. Motivation gets you started, but momentum keeps you going.
I was planning on touching on this during the podcast, but since you mentioned that, I might as well mention it now. So motivation for me, motivation comes from effort. If you put the effort in, you get reward, which equals motivation. So if you take away the effort, you won't get the reward, which means you won't get any motivation. So if you always are consistently trying to make progress and making an effort to progress, then you will have motivation. And as soon as that stops, then it just goes. And that's exactly why people are having a hard time during lockdown and having problems with their fitness, because you've no routine, you've nothing to keep you going, there's no accountability, there's no anything to make progress. And because now they've slipped and they're not making progress, it's putting them into a hole where they can't get out of and make the progress again. It's a bad place to be sometimes, but just trying to crawl back out of that hole is hard. But you're making the moves now to get out of that fitness hole. And hopefully
I know it won't take me long. I know it won't take me long either. Definitely. It's like it's something that I haven't had, like, I think what you've just described right there is kind of like, it's singing off the same hymn sheet kind of thing, really, is what I was saying. Is the fact that yes, you get, like, motivation in itself is like happiness or sadness. You can feel motivated one day and you can not feel motivated the next day, but then you can once you start getting the ball rolling, I wouldn't say that's motivation anymore. I'd say that's momentum. So you started to build momentum by that point, and it's the momentum that keeps you going and keeps you moving. So it's like, I guess in its sense you could see it as motivation, but I think motivation is that thing that gets you out of bed in the first place, and then momentum makes it that much easier.
I think everyone has their own different sort of explanations of it. I guess it's all similar, but like, again, I think motivation is the thing that makes you realize that you can't take days off because you need to be somewhere. Like, that's the motivation. It's not, like, I wouldn't say that's momentum. The momentum isn't the fact that you can't take days off because you need to get to that end goal. Like, momentum is because you've been doing it. Like, momentum is more like the daily habits, so the structure. And then I'd say motivation is the thing that you don't want to slip up because you've got that end goal.
Yeah, and I think that wraps it right back round again, of the fact that I haven't got a goal, like I haven't got a fitness goal right now, and I think that because I haven't got that goal, then, or that target to work towards, then it also means that I lack motivation because I've got nothing to work towards. Like, if I had equipment and I were like, my knee wasn't playing up like it was, and I were like, I can give my best to the open, I can smash it, then, like, I would have been training for that and I'd have had that goal. But when I get back to the gyms, I'm going to try and define like a goal of, like, I do want to do a CrossFit competition this year at some point, and I want to, like, part of like a team competition probably at some point. And I think it would be a really, really good goal to get something like in the diary booked in and just be like, I'm going to be the best athlete I can be by then.
Just give you everything,
Yeah, because there's like, whenever you want to make changes in your life, I talk about this a lot. I don't even know if I talked about it on this podcast before, but there's 5 things about it. It's like, you need to know, like, you need to be aware that you need to make a change. So I'm aware that my fitness has been shit, and I'm aware that I need to make that change. I've made a decision to change. And now, one thing that I always think that a lot of people lack, especially myself as a physio, is I've always tried to program myself. And I find that all the best coaches have a coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, you need that accountability and you need that structure. And it's like, I program for like so many people, like rehab exercises and rehab stuff. It's like, that is literally the job that I do most of the time. And because I'm doing so much of that, it makes me then
neglect your own.
And I don't want to program my own workouts.
No one
I've
wants
done
to
so much of it.
Program their own workouts, I don't think, especially if you're trying to be an athlete or you're trying to be like up there in your fitness. Like, I don't think it's a good thing to program your own. I don't think there's many people who do it either. Like, I don't know any top end athletes that do their own programming. I think it's just, as you say, you neglect your own training whenever you're making your own programming, because you want to focus on other people, which is a good thing as well, because it means your clients aren't like, they're getting most of the focus. If you were a PT and an athlete, it means like you can focus on your athletes rather than yourself, and you don't have to think about yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the priority. Like, you're the athlete, you need to make the best decisions as you can. And how can you make the best decisions as you can if you're focused on other people's decisions? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why when you said like, oh, I'll program you some stuff, and it'll be like, oh, this is awesome, because not only is he giving me some external accountability, because obviously I'm not going to let you
and
down, but he's giving me a strap.
That if you skip days, I'll be like, or not skip days, but if you stop, I'll be on you like a fly on shit.
Yeah, you're posting it all over social media. Adam's a pussy, he's not doing his workouts.
I'll be at you like hair on soap.
Oh mate, I'd want you to do that if I stopped doing it. And then it's obviously all of that doesn't matter unless you take absolute massive action. So it's like the 5 points of it there are really like awareness of needing to change, actually making a decision to change, getting some accountability, getting some structure and like a plan in place, and then actually taking action to change. And if you hit all 5 of them, then you're going to make lasting change. But majority of people that like say start Slimming World or something and do that to like lose weight is like, they've got the accountability there, but then the strategy's fucked. Yeah. So they're never going to be able to last with it longer term. But that's where like different
that's
things
another
like that
thing
come
I
into
would
play.
put
I
in
think
the
it's
bin
massive.
today, like monthly workouts. I fucking hate monthly workouts or monthly challenges. Like, it's just so annoying, because you just get to the end of the month and you just fall back into their old routine that they didn't have whenever they weren't doing exercise. See all these like 30-day squat challenges, 30-day ab challenges that the people are doing during lockdown. It's retarded. Like, it just makes people stick to something for a month. When you get to the end of the month, they're like, oh fuck me, I feel great after that. Sit in the sofa and then get back into the exact same rut that they were in the first place.
That's exactly it. People people need to think about it, because they see it differently. Like, athletes will go like, oh yeah, I'm doing a block, I'm doing like a strength block. Like,
but as soon as that block ends, you start a new one.
Exactly, that's it. It's I don't have anything against the actual challenges themselves. I think the challenges are a great way to get people up, but it's that afterwards. It's the what's next. It's the having that forward thinking and going like, okay, well, what's next? And that's the bit that I think a lot of people miss, is the fact it's like when it comes to like dry Jan and things like that, it's like I really don't like these things. And it's like, if you want to have a fucking beer, have a beer. But it's like for me, I didn't drink in January, but then I also didn't drink for half of February, and I wasn't doing it because I didn't want to have a beer. I was doing it because I didn't feel like I needed to have a beer.
It's just the fact, see, whenever people do those challenges as well, like the day before, they're like, oh, let's get steaming before we do the dry January. So like the day before, like New Year's Eve, just get absolutely smashed. And then the day they come off it, they get absolutely smashed, as if like it's just all wasted. Like, you've done that month and it's just like all down the drain again. It's the same fitness.
And it's like, oh, I felt class when I wasn't drinking. I felt class when I wasn't drinking. I felt class when I wasn't doing that. I felt class when I did this monthly challenge of exercise and I exercised every day. But I stopped it after a month. It's like, well, if something's making you feel good, why the fuck are you stopping it?
Yeah.
It's like just keep going.
Speaking of which, like drinking, because I've obviously stopped drinking, and I was talking to someone I've talked to a while back, and they were talking about a music concert in Belfast, and they were like, "You gonna go to it?" And I was like, "Well, if I'm home, I'll come to it." And she was like, "Yeah, can't wait to have a drink, blah blah blah." And then I says, well, I don't really drink anymore, but I'll still be there, and I'll be the same old Rob." And she was like, "Didn't know you were boring." I was like, "I'm not bored. I'm like the opposite of boring. I don't need drink to have fun or anything." And she, like, it completely changed the tone, like the conversation, as if like she just didn't want to hang out just because I'm not drinking, which is fucking, it's mad. Like, you're shamed when you make a decision towards better health. It's actually mad. I don't understand it. It sort of pissed me off as well.
I think you're getting to like. It's not because you always like. I have certain friends that were great friends for me when I were at university, and I loved going out, and I loved getting fucked up, and I loved like getting pissed and whatnot. These friends were perfect for that time, but now I'm at a point in my life where I don't necessarily. I like these people. I'm still see them as friends and whatnot, but if they're not going to kind of, I don't want to say grow, but if they're not going to have that area of like self-awareness and development to I don't know how to say it, but like expand their knowledge or like
just grow as a person.
Like it is like growing as a person and being aware of the fact that like, okay, to be better in life and to progress in life, I need to do these steps. And if I'm drinking every weekend and spending loads of money on loads of shit like that, then it's gonna hold me back from achieving my goals in that sense there. So it's like you almost like level up a little bit, and they don't like the fact that you're leveling up and you're leaving them behind, so they'll try and drag you back down to their level.
I don't, like, it's me not drinking. I don't want to be that guy who's like under the radar of not being that guy that doesn't drink. I will still go out with friends and have a non-alcoholic beer just to fucking fit in, or have like a cocktail or something, or a mocktail, and like I would tell no one that I'm not drinking just to see if they even know, and then I'll just get on the way I normally do, because there's no difference with me when I'm drunk. I'm still a fucking idiot, like. You know what I mean? But
no, one of my friends did it at his wedding. Like, he decided his stag do with the last night he drank, and he just after his stag do, he were like, I fucking can't do this anymore. So he spoke to the guys at his wedding and behind the bar, and they're like, every time that someone orders me a drink, will you just do me a lemonade? Like, my normal drink's vodka lemonade, so just do me a lemonade and don't put any vodka in it. And no one knew that he was drunk. No one knew that he wasn't drunk, that he didn't drink. Like, he had shit.
Mad. It's all just like a facade. Like, everyone just, I don't know. I think it's different for people who need that bit of alcohol, a bit of confidence. I used to be that guy for 100%, but now, like, I know for a fact I don't change at all, and I've nothing to, like, I've got a girlfriend I want to stay with for as long as I can, and I don't need to go out and pull a girl, which was probably the main reason I drank before, so I can go out and talk to women, because I wasn't really confident that way. And but now that I don't need to do that, like, what's the point? Like, there ain't no point.
Yeah, and it affects what's the thing that you in your life right now. Your main goal, obviously, not fitness, business related, but fitness is your CrossFit and stuff, and where you're placing in the open. And if you smashed your workout today, which you did, which very much well done, by the way, and then you decided, I'm just going to get fucked up tonight now, celebrate it. Then that's going to fuck your training up for tomorrow and probably the day after that, and then you'll probably even be sore the day after that, and then it's coming round to the next workout, and you're going to be knackered. So it's like, if you don't take, and this is what I find baffling, this is when people go like, I'm going to have ice baths, I'm going to take these supplements, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then they go out and they get absolutely smashed. It's like, well, maybe if you focus on your diet, your sleep, and actual proper recovery, then you'd see a lot more progress than getting an ice bath or having these.
To hear a question, actually, because I know you're not as a big a drinker either. I don't know if you've actually stopped completely, but if you did stop, what would be the weakness? So, like, obviously, if you're a vegetarian, you always have that weakness that you look at. It's like, oh fuck, I'd love a steak or something like that there. But what would be your weakness situation where you're like, oh fuck, I'd love a drink?
I think it would be situational. I think I love whiskey and I love having an old fashioned, and I don't think you can beat like a really good whiskey. And like I have this kind of, one of the visions in my head is like when I become a millionaire and I get I have the expensive whiskey in the whiskey cabinet that I don't touch until
I like that
until I've got it. And I'm gonna, like, I haven't bought that whiskey yet, but obviously when you're a little bit closer, you're gonna buy that whiskey.
And bought some nice whiskey and then ended up drinking it. So it didn't last long at all.
But I have some, like, I literally have some right next to me right now. I have some Woodford Reserve that's really nice with some like Angostura bitter mix and stuff to make old fashions. But I just haven't touched it. I'm not bothered by it, and.
More like a celebratory. What I was thinking out about earlier was like whenever I'm back in Northern Ireland and the sun's out and the boys want to go to a beer garden for day drinks, and that is the only place that I will miss a drink. Like that's like good vibes.
And I'm still in the thing of where, like, if I had one whiskey, like if I had a whiskey tonight, I don't think it'd really affect me. People disagree with that, but like I'm in that mindset of that if like me and Alice, girlfriend, want to have a bottle of wine together one night and like having a really nice meal together, then I'll do it. It's not like I'm saying I'm never going to drink again. Like, I mean, like I had a beer last night, I had an ale last night, so it's not like I'm not drinking. It's just I'm not getting pissed. I'm not going to that level of where
it's definitely the environment. Environment definitely affects what way your drinking habits are. For example, right? I was talking to a guy in work. So I don't know. You probably don't know anything about the industry I work in. So the aircraft industry, as a contractor, it's very cliquey in terms of the jobs you get. It's usually word of mouth, where you get referred by someone, and if you're basically not a nice person, you probably get you get a job for being dead on rather than your workmanship. It's fucking mad. But anyway, it's big into the drinking and drug use in the aircraft contracting. It's absolutely bonkers. But I got told, so I'm always going to the gym after work, and then a lot of other guys are going to the bar after work. And they would always make fun of me in work and say, "Oh, come for a fucking pint, you eat fruit, just stop being that guy." Like, sort of belittling me for go to the gym instead of going for a pint, which I've got used to. I've learned how to fucking just let it go. But I was talking to one of the guys.
It's hard at first, right?
Yeah. But I was talking to one of the guys who's been on the circuit for years and years, and he says, you know, 10 years ago, you'd probably get sacked because you're not going out with the boys, like, because the contract circuit is so cliquey. If you didn't go out for a drink and like socialise with everyone, they would go out and get you sacked because you're not like one of the lads. And they said they had like once back in the day, they used to have the thing where, I can't remember what it was called, I had a name for it, but it's basically where you went out after work in your overalls and you had to go into work the next day in the same overalls, like with no sleep, you've been drinking all night, and you have to do that at least once a week. And that was like their thing in the contracting circuit, where you're going into work absolutely steaming. And they said, like, the genuinely says, like, you wouldn't be in this job if you were doing the same thing you're doing now 10 years ago, which is it's absolutely mental, like.
Yeah, that is crazy. I don't understand, like, how putting your health first can be perceived
I've never met the most unhealthy people in my life. The people that I've met in my work, like, it's bonkers. Luckily, I've got a close friend group now where we're all in the same mindset. We're there to make money. We're there to stay healthy and not drink and stuff like that. So luckily, I found people that have the same qualities as me. But 6 months to a year ago, I didn't have that. It was hard, like, coming into work every day and everyone's just like, "Oh, come for a drink this weekend." And sometimes I did actually go because I felt like I was obliged to, because I have no one else to socialise with, and I was going out, and then end up they got out their drugs, they got out their beers, and just peer pressure all the time. And I just got sick of it, and I was just like, "Do you know what? I'm not even going to hang about with these guys anymore. I'm just going to cut them out." and it's the best decision I ever made. Didn't go out to the game. I just focused on my own things, and it was since then.
Yeah, it's your circle and your environment. So obviously it's hard to change your environment, and I probably said this saying before, and I'll say it again: is your average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I massively believe in that.
100%.
It's like if you surround yourself with positive people that have the same kind of outlook on life. And I was talking about this the other day of like literally my average is you, my 2 business partners, and my girlfriend, and my mum and dad. That's 6 people. But anyway, it's like my mum and dad, like they're not the most savvy when it comes to money and whatnot, and they're not most savvy when it comes to business stuff. Obviously, my business partners and you and my girlfriend are all kind of very up on that, and I talk a lot about it. So my average, I'm actually quite good about. But then when I move out in a couple of months, it's going to be the average will be even better again. And it's like surrounding yourself with the people like that is
you can
is massive.
And I'm the same now. Like after the past year I've had is 100%. You, John, my other 2 friends, fitnessy friends that started the hybrid, and Elena, and that's pretty much it. And I keep my circles small, and it's the best thing I've ever done, like for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I think that's it. It's like me and you talk daily about like stocks and shit, and even like stocks and fitness is basically our conversations majority of the time, and yeah, it's just crazy the way that I think that the like it's what obviously it's like what you focus on is what you get, and I think that I'm just massive on these kind of things, and I think that if people are wanting to change their life but they think that their friends and their circle is holding them back, then the biggest piece of advice that you can ever get is like just cut. It's the hardest thing to do, but and not necessarily don't cut them out. But are they in your 100%. Top 5 and choose your top 5?
I think it's harder.
Well.
I think it is when it's hard when you're back home in your own hometown and you have all your local friends that you used to run about with in school. You sort of want to see them, but you know for a fact if you go see them, you're just gonna come back with a completely different mindset, and which is tough. But I think it's a whole part of growing up, and people need to just learn how to be savage with their decisions in that respect. Where just be savage, like. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm planning on coming home soon rather than later. But I've applied for a few jobs, and I've told people, I've told Helena, I've told my mum, told my dad, I was like, I'm going to be absolutely savage when I come home. And I've said to my mum, like even family, if so people aren't bringing positivity to me, I'm out. Like I'll just leave. I'll just get up off the seat and walk out, because I'm coming back from a job that I'm basically going to have to half my wage to come home, which is a step I'm willing to make to push forward and other things. But I know for a fact I'm going to have the best mindset I've ever had to move home to Northern Ireland, because I've always had a problem with Northern Ireland in that respect, where it's sort of it's a burden over me, where I think that it's holding me back. So if I come back with a positive attitude, like it's not going to happen. I know I'm going to bring back something that I've never brought back to Northern Ireland. So I've told
it's
everyone.
Tough. I think it's the safety blanket that you carry sometimes on being in like your hometown and your home place. And I think it's one thing where I want to get out of my house now that I'm with my parents, is that it's like, as much as I appreciate it and the fact that my mum and dad would do anything to help me, I think that this has almost held me back in my time, and I need to.
I think you spend a lot of your younger years trying to impress people, but realistically, the only person you should be trying to impress is the future self and your previous self. Like that, they're the only 2 people you should be trying to impress.
Yeah. Who's your best role model? Like, it's myself in 10 years. That
Yeah,
kind of
100%. You want to be when you're 60 years old, be like, fuck, I'm glad previous Rob helped me out. And then you want to be a 10-year-old Rob looking at Rob saying, fuck me, I want to grow up to be him. And that's realistically, that's what you want to be. And as well, like I said to myself as well, I keep on saying to myself, I want to come back and be that guy that people say, oh fuck, he's a really nice guy. Like, I don't want to be the guy that people think, oh, he's a dick. Like, I'm pretty much like you. Like, you're pretty much flawless in that respect. Like, I don't think anyone would even ever meet you and think, oh fuck, he's a dick. I think everyone would say he's a really nice guy, and that's what I want to be. That's what I want to be when I go back. Like, I want to be the guy that people want to be around because he's a nice guy, and I think that goes a long way. That for sure.
No, I mean, I don't know. One of the biggest things for me, I think that is something that I've always tried to be. I hate it when people don't like me. But one of the biggest things that when people that annoy me is creating empathy. And sometimes people think that you create empathy for the other person for them, but you don't. Like, say I think I might have even mentioned this before, but there was a guy who cut me up the other day, literally on a moped with no helmet on or anything. I was crossing over the road with my girlfriend, and this guy cut me up. And my first response was, "Oh, I feel sorry for you," rather than not, "Oh, what a fucking dickhead," giving him the finger, all this kind of shit. We're like, what kind of upbringing have you had to make you make these kind of decisions? I feel sorry for you. And it's like, I just get on with my day then. I'm not uptight, I'm not angry, I'm not that guy that gets mad at traffic.
Like, complaining is just a fucking, it just is what's the point in complaining all the time?
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely a big good trait to have. But
no, and I think that it just comes back to that every single time, and yeah, it's just it's nice and easy, nice and simple, but We've gone off.
Oh, that was a mega rabbit hole. That was a fucking rabbit pit.
32 minutes of a rabbit hole.
So I had a bit of structure towards this podcast in terms of what we're going to talk about. I made a post on my Instagram last week, which was about just how people are getting on during the pandemic. I have the grown, blah blah blah. So we've got a few questions that we're going to ask Adam, and I'll basically go through the responses that I had on Instagram, which were, some were bad, some were good, and So the first question I put up was, what have you learned in the last year? I know you've learned quite a lot, but what's the thing that stands out the most to you?
Well, like you say, there's a lot that I learned, but I think one of the main things that I take away is it's in self-development rather than in anything else, and it's to fill up my cup first.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I spoke about it, I think it was last week, when I had a breakdown in August, like with a lot of things that were going on with family and people dying and dogs dying and everything. And the main thing that I always did was I was helping everybody around me, which, like you just said before, it's the kind of person that I am. I am always that guy who wants to help people, but I wasn't letting myself process or deal with the issues.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I'm filling up my cup, because even the person who's everybody else's rock, that rock can break. And I had a breakdown in August about it all and stuff, and all these emotions just came out over like 3 days, and yeah, so it's like my main thing that I've learned is to take care of myself and to fill my cup first.
That's a good one.
And then focus on helping the other people around me. But when you come into like a lot of other things, it's like I've learned how to make a podcast, how to edit and produce a podcast. I've learned how to make a website. I've made a blog. I've done loads of other shit in kind of that terms of things. I've learned how to invest basically in this last year. So it's like there's a lot of different shit that I've done, but I think the main one that's going to give me the most value and give myself the most value is definitely making sure that or advice to other people with it is make sure your cup's full before you start pouring out to other people.
Give from the saucer rather than the cup. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
So the answers that we got here was buy toilet roll. That's a solid one.
Buy toilet roll.
Family is all you need. I don't actually believe in that as much. I think my friends helped me through lockdown just as much as family. Don't say my family didn't help me. My family helped me a lot, but I think that friends are just as important. So some friends are like family for me.
I think it goes back to your circle. I think that whole thing. Who do you put in your circle?
I can't read my writing. The change what you can embrace. Oh wait, I can't read my writing. So don't worry about changing what you can't. Or no, sorry, no, I read that wrong. Change what you can and embrace what you can't. That's a really nice one. That's a solid point, because there's too many people. I was talking about this today actually, but someone's like, there's too many people who are trying to fucking, like, they're complaining about things that can't change, and all day, every day, they're complaining about things that can't change, and why? It's just a waste of energy. See all this, see the news, reading the news and stuff at the minute. Just fucking give it a break. Don't worry about it, because you're not going to do anything to change that.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother about it today, and he was just saying, I'm just getting really frustrated with COVID, and just really frustrated with everything that's going on. Like, he's a bar manager, he manages a bar, so he hasn't worked pretty much all year, and then he's renovating a house with his girlfriend at the minute, and they're having to wait. He can't do anything on the house because he's having to wait for a grant. He booked his theory test for last March. He's passed his theory test now, but he had to do that in August, so it got pushed back loads, and now his driving test has been pushed back to July, so it's fucking miles away, and he's getting really frustrated. By all means, like, people would get frustrated at all this shit he's just like, I'm just sat waiting around on my ass all the time, and I'm like,
it's just first world problems, like, it's just...
No, I get it. That's exactly what I said to him. I get it. But what you need to think about right now is none of these things you cannot change. And, like, this is where I think meditation's so powerful, because you bring yourself back to the present problem of what can you actually change, and what can you actually do with yourself right now. All of them things that you've said, it's pointless wasting your time being frustrated on them, although they are annoying.
Yeah, just getting frustrated.
You can't change any of it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So if he's like, he wants to get back in the gym, he wants to lose a little bit of weight, so, and he's got issues with his ankles, so I've been like, well, I'll program for him, like we're saying, I'll take away the pressure of him of wanting to program for himself. So I've said, I'll program for you, and I did it for him last week. I sent him his thing, and and when I was speaking to him today, I was like, have you done anything that I sent you? He says, yeah, I looked over it and did it once. It's like, you've had it a week and a half, mate, you've done it once. It's like,
things for people, because they don't do it, and you just waste your time.
Well, that's what I said to him. I got him to pay me. I said to him, like, I don't think he's sent me it yet. He hasn't sent me it yet, but I was like, even as my brother, I'm not doing this for the sake of I need money off you. I'm doing this because it's accountability to you. You're paying for this service then. If you're paying me whatever it was that he paid me, it's, you are holding yourself accountable. If you don't do it, you're throwing money away. And that's what some people need, that, and it's like you sending me the stuff that you've sent me. I don't think I need necessarily that financial and accountability from you.
It's different.
Even though as soon as you sent me, I hurt my neck in the same day. I don't be able to do it for 5 days. But
pulls his neck on a computer.
I know, literally, like, stretched back like this on my chair, and my neck just went. I felt it crack, and I was like, oh my god, just so annoying. I am doing it.
Yeah, you fucking will. So what else people will put down? Save money, which I think a lot of people have saved more money than they ever have during lockdown and getting furlough and stuff, which again, they're not fucking grateful for. The amount of money people have saved during furlough, and they're not looking at it as a positive. Yeah. Like, it's mad. Like, when I'm in Italy now, my gym owner, the gym I go to, he has got €2,000 from the government in a year. Like, it's absolutely scandalous what's going on over here. Greece, again, I talked about it last week. Like, Greece is getting absolutely stepped on left, right and centre. The UK are getting spoon-fed by every single thing they can, and they just can't be happy. It's just, they can't look at that positive. It's mad. What else? People believing anything. Again, media. It's mad. The amount of times I travelled home through the height of coronavirus and didn't get blinked at twice. People just believe in everything they think.
Well, there's that new travel fine now, isn't there?
Well, I don't know how that stands. My friend actually travelled home today to do tests for another job. He travelled to the UK, and
it's work though. Fine.
He's got a letter from work, but I'm going to ask him here tonight, and see if he actually got asked for his letter, or if he needed it. And then for coming back as well, it'd be good to know and tell people, because again, it's probably fucking blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
External influences as big as a pandemic cannot stop me from achieving my goal. That's solid. This is a guy
That's so
that
good.
I've been in contact through Instagram, and he's a very motivational guy. He was actually on The Apprentice, the
Oh,
TV
nice.
show, and he
Sounds like the type of guy we want on the
here.
podcast, mate.
That's actually a good idea. I'll have to message him and see if he fancy it, because he's a very very influential guy. There's no such thing as right time to start something, and you'd like that, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's imperfect action. I love the imperfect actions. Too many people waiting for the stars to be aligned before they start something that they've been wanting to do. I'm just about just get it done, just get it started.
Yeah.
Like this podcast, like the first couple of episodes of this podcast are literally me and Rob recording ourselves talking on our phones and me editing it together.
Yeah.
That was it. Like that was as far as the podcast went, and then I ripped out the audio and uploaded it, and then now I'm here with a nice mixing desk. I can do random things where we laugh and we give applause.
Right, stop showing off your new toys. Back to the podcast.
But yeah, no, it's good. Like I say,
So they were the good points anyway. And then there was a few people putting in bad comments like, people are cunts, fuck the government, just negative comments. And I mailed during all these stories I put up, anyone who put in something negative, I mailed them, and I just asked them, is everything okay? And
Yeah.
It turned out that most of them were having a fucking awful day, and most of them were having an awful time at the minute, and they probably needed a wee message, and I voice messaged one of them, and I said stuff to him that apparently worked, and he said that he was very grateful of me pointing out that he was negative, and he said he was just completely give him a 180, and it'll completely change. So it worked, and I was quite happy that day. That happened the day whenever I mailed him, and I talked some sense into him, and he realised that he was being negative, and he turned it around, and that made me feel class. Like that's the sort of intrinsic motivation that I needed for that day, that I had a spring in my step from then on, just from helping one person.
Yeah, man, that's it. It's so good just being able to talk to someone and help them and just switch the mindset around. It's like I had it with one of my clients the other day. She was just dwelling on something that she just didn't need to dwell on, like focusing on the negative, and I'm like, just look at all the good things that have happened this week. Look at all the good things that you've done. Let's focus on these and get this focus back to the present, back to what's going on right now, and not focus on all the bad shit that you can't control. Yeah. It's on, like, there's no, people have bad weeks. Why have a bad week? Then try and change that to having a bad day. And if you're having a bad day, why have a bad day? Try and change that to having a bad moment. Yeah. And like, we all have bad moments, but it depends on what you do and what you focus on for the rest of the time, the rest of the day. Switch it around in your head, and it's like we said just before, is what you focus on is what you get. And if you focus on negativity, then you're going to get negativity in your life.
The guy that I mailed as well, he was a firm advocate of like positive life and like practice gratitude every morning. And you've seen him on his Instagram. This is another reason why I mailed him, because he practiced the things that you should be practicing during all this shit going on. Your gratitude every morning. Like, I don't do that personally, but I know it's a good way of law of attraction. That's the whole point of it, isn't it? It's the secret. And so he practiced that, and I was like, well, why are you practicing the gratitude every morning and practicing trying to help people on your Instagram, yet going behind your Instagram to comment on things, being negative? And that was the trigger for me of why, like, what is wrong with you? Like, what's up? And it did turn out it was something wrong with it. It was something wrong with it that day. But I said to him, like, you're gonna have the bad days. Like, this whole positive life attitude, like, being positive all the time is not attainable. You cannot be positive all the time. It's impossible. You're always gonna hit with a speed bump, always. But it's how you react to the negativity is what defines you, rather than the reaction to the positivity. And anyone gonna get positive by positive reactions? Like, that's the easy part. It's whenever something negative hits you and you still stay positive. That's the hard part that no one can really do, and that's the thing that knocks people's wheels off. But
Yeah.
that's he was glad that I said that to him, and yeah.
No, it's exactly what you said is what I class as strength. Like when people say strength in general, I personally believe that the way strength is defined is by resilience and vulnerability. Resilience times vulnerability. And like what you just said there, it's like when you're having a bad moment and you get back up again, that is resilience. Like you're being resilient to things that are going on. And then obviously vulnerability is actually opening up and talking about it when you're having a bad day, talking about it, and you helped that guy be slightly vulnerable and be like, you know what, mate, yeah, I'm having a shit day and I need to sort it out.
Yeah.
So that then you helped that guy be strong, and you helped him with strength, and I think that's
he was vulnerable, which is just as good.
Yeah, because he could have easily gone, no, like, nah, mate, nah, I'm fine, don't worry about it, and like just kind of gone on with his day. But he opened up a little bit, and then obviously became stronger. He felt a lot better with it again, and I think that's the main thing. And just on what you said about gratitude as well, because I practice gratitude, but I do it differently to what a lot of people say about looking in the mirror and verbalizing it. And I do it like I attach it with my meditation a little bit. So when I meditate, it's like at the end when it says like, well, I use Headspace, and it's like you can now open your eyes. It's like I just sit there and I just think about the things that I'm grateful for. And when the moment that it really hit me about gratitude, that you could be grateful in any moment, was when I was actually grateful that shit things had happened in my life. When you attach kind of gratitude towards moments like that, like my dog dying in August, yes, he died, but I was able to spend the last 6 months of his life with him in lockdown, and he had like undivided attention for all that time. So it's like I'm grateful for the time I had with him before he passed, rather than my dog's just died, how shit's that? Yeah. It changes it, but I don't necessarily verbalize that. I just think about the things that I've got each day. It's like I'm grateful for the fact that I've been able to start a business in a lockdown, which is insane. And you can obviously go a lot deeper in that, but it's more about I think about the things rather than actually verbalizing them. And some people would say verbalizing things puts it out in the open, it makes it better. But I think as a starting point for a lot of people, if you just actually give yourself a few minutes to sit and think about what's good in your life right now, it changes the spin on it, and you don't necessarily need to sit in the mirror talking to yourself about it, which can be overwhelming for some people.
Right, we'll move on to the next question because we're running out of time. We'll try not to hold up these as much. If another virus happens in 20 years' time, what would you advise your kids?
I like this one. When you asked this one, I saw this one on your story. I would tell my kids to listen to the rules, but try and take advantage of the situation. So obviously, like, I think one of the big issues that a lot of people had that it's extended the lockdown is obviously it's partly the government's fault and their rulings on it and stuff. But I think if people just listened to the rules and didn't try and go against them, we'd be in a much better place right now. And try and take advantage of it. Like how can you take potentially, if there is a lockdown and you're working, is there something that you've wanted to do? Is there something that you've wanted to start? Don't just like sit around and scratch your bollocks for the entire time. Make sure you're actually trying to progress and getting further within the business or getting further within whatever you want to achieve out of life, because this is probably a bit of a controversial statement, but I really don't think that people are ever truly fulfilled in their life by having a salaried job working for somebody else.
We've said this before in the podcast, haven't we? Which it's true. It's like it's a very bitter pill to swallow, like, isn't it? Where it's 100% true. But some people are like, if everyone did that, if everyone didn't do that, for example, like there wouldn't be people with their own businesses. Like if everyone had their own businesses and worked for themselves, there wouldn't be people doing the salary jobs. Like there always has to be the people doing the salary jobs. It's that is the hard bit.
Yeah, well, I think that is also true, but I think the fact that people would want to say, if there's someone who wants to get better at coaching or online coaching and they're not quite there yet, then they come and work for me, and then I help them with the experience, but I help them to achieve their goal at the end. Then there's always going to be a constant influx of people that are wanting to improve and be better. There's young people coming up to that age that need the experience, and then there's older people that obviously potentially haven't taken that leap that could have done when they was younger. So I think that if we help the younger generation, that I saw a picture about it actually. It's like someone in an interview and they're saying like, oh, so what experience have you got in the remit? And it's like, I don't have any experience in, but I was hoping to get some here. Yeah. It's like that kind of like positive approach to someone being able to actually learn and grow, rather than going like, oh, well, how many years have you got in this actual industry? It's like, well, none, because I need a job. So I think I don't know, this is my thoughts on it, but there's a lot of things that I think that people could take a lot more positivity out of that.
Yeah, for sure. We'll run through these answers quickly. Talk to your friends, solid. Buy gym equipment, looking very good one, like.
Yeah, it's a very good one.
Start something new, definitely a good idea. Pick a goal and hobby to work on. Progression gets you through it, which is also solid. Look at the positives, basically what you said. Stay off social media. Sound that, but I can't really take a day off because my business is social media. But I think there is people out there that need to take a break off social media who are just swallowing it up, and it's not healthy.
Yeah. Take a day off negative people off social media. I think is a better way of framing that.
Don't give any energy to the media. Solid.
Yeah, definitely true.
Right, last few questions. How many times have you hit a mental wall? 1 to 3, 4 to 7, 8 to 10, 10 plus.
10 plus.
I was about to say that for you. You've had a few walls, like.
But it's not even that. It's that I've hit a fair few walls, but I've done the shit to get over
100%.
them as well. But you hit the walls.
Yeah, there was quite a few 10 pluses. Like I think I was the majority vote 10 pluses. There was actually, I think second was 1 to 3. So there is those resilient people or the ones that are lying.
Yeah.
And the honest people. Do you think you've progressed as a person or got worse? You're obviously better, yeah. There was 85% better and 15% worse. The 15% worse did get a few meals, but I seen some of them were just crying for attention, like. But that was a good wee poll. I might do it again this week and maybe some other questions because it was quite informative to see where people were at.
Yeah, well, we've pretty much done a whole podcast on them, and I think it's good because obviously, like, we're getting Easy's back in the UK tomorrow, and tomorrow's Monday. We filmed this on Sunday for Wednesday, so we're getting Easy's back in the UK this week, and it's good to kind of see how people have progressed over the last year and stuff. And I feel really sorry for the people that have had 2 lockdown birthdays now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's, I think that, like I say, it's really good that people are progressing in that way and that they're interacting in the stories and stuff as well.
For sure. But we'll end it on that note, will we?
Yeah. No, it's a good nearly an hour podcast here, so it's good, and I think that we've covered a lot of different bits and bobs there, and yeah, so do you want a word from our sponsor?
Yes.
Before we end the podcast?
Hybrid Academy sponsors this podcast, best clothing company for fitness apparel that will improve your training to the highest level. Apart from when you're doing a 7-minute burpee challenge, which doesn't help out.
I know. I figured out the bit why I didn't progress, mate. It's because on these new socks.
Yeah.
I didn't press the activation button
that was a rookie error,
on the socks to activate the 10% better 10% better burpees on the little button on the socks.
10% would only got you 7 more anyway.
I know. Well, maybe next time I try it, I won't do the Emon that just completely destroyed my legs.
You will. You'll do what I tell you, Adam. But
no. Well, yeah. Of course I will. I'm just
use NL10 for 10% off everything. Some new stuff coming.
Get one of these hoodies. The
hoodies
class.
are going out
these
fast. Hoodies. The OG tees are selling out fast, so they're not getting restocked. So if you don't have them, you're never going to have them. So get them.
Oh shit! FOMO. Go get that FOMO.
Exclusivity, bro.
Yeah.
New things coming next month. Shitloads of stuff coming next month. So get involved. Sick. Anything else to plug? Are you good?
Yep. Awesome. No, nothing else to plug
are you
right now.
we sign off button?
Are we sign off? Oh, yeah, I haven't got our theme song on a button yet.
That's not the climax. I'm sorry, guys.
Song on a button.
I built that up for nothing.
Yeah, I know you built them up. I could use a random song, but it's not gonna work. But I'll edit it in post and just look like I pressed it. No, guys, but thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, then please subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all the other podcasting platforms. A review or a comment would be awesome as well. We want to hear your stories as well, so make sure you message myself and Rob on Instagram, or there is a link in the description where you can send us a voice note and be featured in the podcast itself. So make sure you are doing that. And mate, we will sign off here if you don't have anything to say.
Sign it off.
Awesome, mate. Right, we will catch you later on, guys.